Ladies and gentlemen, there is a simple truth that has the power to change every area of your life. It doesn't require extraordinary talent, it doesn't demand perfect timing, and it certainly doesn't depend on luck. Many people spend their lives waiting for a breakthrough. They believe success arrives in one dramatic moment, a lucky opportunity, a perfect idea, or a life-changing event. But success rarely announces itself with fireworks. More often, it arrives quietly, disguised as small daily disciplines. Think about it. If you improve by just 1% every single day, today's version of you becomes slightly better than yesterday's. The difference may be invisible today. It may even feel insignificant tomorrow. But over weeks, months, and years, those tiny gains compound into remarkable achievements. Success is not built in a day. It is built one choice at a time. One page read, one extra workout, one meaningful conversation, one new skill learned, one habit improved, one excuse rejected. Every small action is like placing a brick. A single brick doesn't look impressive. But if you lay one brick every day with care and consistency, eventually you build a house. The same principle applies to your future. Too many people underestimate what they can accomplish because they focus only on immediate results. They plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. When they don't see instant progress, they quit. But nature teaches us a different lesson. Seeds grow underground before they ever appear above the surface. Progress often happens where no one can see it. The roots grow first. Strength develops quietly. Character is built in private long before success becomes public. The people we admire didn't become successful overnight. They simply stayed committed long after others lost interest. They understood that consistency beats intensity. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to have the most resources. You don't have to know every answer before you begin. You simply need the willingness to become a little better today than you were yesterday. Ask yourself every morning, what is one thing I can improve today? Not 10 things, not 100 things, just one. Then tomorrow, improve another one. Those small victories begin to change your confidence. Confidence changes your actions. Actions shape your habits. Habits determine your character. And character ultimately shapes your destiny. Remember, success is not an accident. It is a collection of daily decisions. The difference between an average life and an exceptional one is often found in ordinary moments. While some people waste those moments, others invest them. Every minute spent learning instead of complaining, practicing instead of procrastinating, or improving instead of making excuses becomes an investment in your future. Imagine where you could be 1 year from now if you committed to becoming just 1% better every one day. Imagine the books you would finish, the skills you would master, the relationships you would strengthen, the confidence you would build, the opportunities you would attract. Your future isn't created by what you do once in a while. It is created by what you do every single day. Never let the size of the mountain discourage you from taking the next step. Every mountain is climbed one step at a time. Every masterpiece is created one brushstroke at a time. Every great achievement begins with one small decision to move forward. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's finish. Compare today's effort with yesterday's effort. That is the comparison that truly matters. When you focus on daily improvement instead of instant perfection, you remove fear from the equation. You stop worrying about being the best and start concentrating on becoming better. And better, repeated consistently, eventually becomes extraordinary. So beginning today, don't ask life for easier challenges. Ask yourself to become stronger. Don't wait for motivation to appear. Create momentum through action. Don't chase overnight success. Build lasting success through daily improvement. Because 1% may seem small today, but tomorrow it grows. Next week, it grows again. Next month, it becomes visible. Next year, it becomes undeniable. And one day, people will call your success extraordinary. They'll never see the thousands of ordinary decisions that made it possible. So take that first small step today, then another tomorrow. Keep improving. Keep growing. Keep believing. Most people believe success happens in one extraordinary moment. They imagine a single opportunity, a lucky break, or one big decision suddenly changes everything. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, or the perfect chance to arrive. Because of this mindset, many delay taking action. They think that if today's effort seems too small to produce immediate results, then it isn't worth making. But the reality of success is completely different. It is not built through one dramatic event. It is created through hundreds and even thousands of small decisions made every single day. Every remarkable achievement has a beginning that appears ordinary. Before a business becomes successful, someone spends countless hours learning, planning, and solving problems. Before an athlete stands on the podium, there are years of early mornings, difficult training sessions, and disciplined routines. Before a musician performs confidently before thousands of people, there are endless hours of practice when no audience is watching. The public usually notices the final result, but they rarely see the quiet effort that made it possible. Small improvements often feel insignificant because their results are not immediate. Reading 10 pages of a good book may not seem life-changing today. Saving a small amount of money may not make you wealthy this month. Exercising for 30 minutes may not transform your health in a single week. Yet each of these actions moves you forward. Every positive choice adds another brick to the foundation of your future. One brick alone does not build a house, but placing one brick every day eventually creates something strong and lasting. The challenge is that people naturally seek quick rewards. They want instant progress because it feels motivating. When results don't appear quickly, disappointment takes over. Many give up just before their efforts begin to produce visible outcomes. They mistake slow progress for no progress. They assume nothing is happening simply because they cannot see immediate changes. In reality, growth often occurs beneath the surface long before it becomes obvious to everyone else. Think about planting a seed in the ground. After watering it for several days, you may not notice any visible change. That doesn't mean the seed has failed. Beneath the soil, roots are developing, preparing the plant for healthy growth. The strongest trees spend time building deep roots before reaching impressive heights. Human success follows the same pattern. Knowledge grows before confidence. Discipline develops before achievement. Character is strengthened before recognition. Every day presents an opportunity to make one small improvement, learning one new idea, developing one useful skill, making one better decision, or correcting one mistake may seem too simple to matter. Yet these small actions gradually reshape the direction of your life. The difference between where you are today and where you could be tomorrow is often determined by the tiny choices you consistently make, rather than the rare moments of extraordinary effort. People who achieve lasting success understand that excellence is not an occasional performance. It is the natural outcome of repeated habits. They don't depend on motivation, because motivation comes and goes. Instead, they rely on discipline, knowing that even small actions completed consistently create momentum. Over time, these ordinary efforts accumulate, opening doors that once seemed impossible and creating opportunities that appear effortless to those who only notice the final outcome. Consistency is one of the most powerful forces behind every meaningful achievement. It rarely attracts attention because it looks ordinary. There is nothing dramatic about showing up every day, repeating the same positive habits, and making steady progress. Yet this quiet discipline produces results that occasional bursts of effort never can. Many people believe success belongs to those who work the hardest for a short period of time. But lasting success usually belongs to those who keep moving forward long after excitement has most faded. Think about the difference between intensity and consistency. Intensity feels exciting. It gives you the energy to work late into the night, to chase a goal with passion, or to make a sudden change in your life. While intensity has its place, it often disappears as quickly as it arrives. Consistency, however, does not depend on emotion. It is the decision to continue, even when the work becomes repetitive, even when progress feels slow, and even when nobody is watching. It is built on commitment rather than temporary motivation. Many people begin a new goal with great enthusiasm. They buy the books, make detailed plans, and imagine the future they want to create. For a few days or weeks, everything feels exciting. Then challenges appear. The results are slower than expected. Daily responsibilities increase. Motivation begins to fade. At that moment, many people stop. They assume the goal is too difficult, or that they simply were not meant to succeed. In reality, they did not fail because they lacked talent. They failed because they abandoned consistency. Small actions performed repeatedly create momentum. Reading 10 pages every day may not seem impressive, but after a year, it adds up to thousands of pages and dozens of completed books. Practicing a skill for 1 hour each day may appear ordinary, but over months and years, those hours become expertise. Saving a small amount of money every week may feel insignificant at first, yet over time it grows into financial security. The individual actions seem small, but their accumulated effect becomes extraordinary. Nature demonstrates this principle beautifully. A river does not carve through rock because it is the strongest force in a single moment. It shapes mountains through constant movement over many years. Water flowing consistently in the same direction eventually creates valleys, canyons, and landscapes that seem impossible to change. Human effort works in much the same way. Small, repeated actions gradually reshape abilities, habits, and circumstances. Consistency also builds trust, whether in business, friendships, leadership, or family. People value reliability more than occasional brilliance. Someone who delivers quality work every day earns greater respect than someone who performs exceptionally once and disappears the rest of the time. A reliable person becomes dependable because others know what to expect. This reputation is not built overnight. It develops through repeated actions that demonstrate commitment and integrity. Another powerful benefit of consistency is that it strengthens confidence. Confidence does not appear simply because you wish for it. It grows through evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you prove that you are capable of following through. Every completed task reinforces the belief that you can handle greater challenges. Over time, these small victories change the way you see yourself. You begin to trust your own discipline instead of depending on outside encouragement. Consistency also reduces the fear of large goals. Looking at a mountain from the bottom can feel overwhelming. The distance seems impossible, and the effort required appears exhausting. However, when your focus shifts to taking one step after another, the impossible becomes manageable. Every journey, no matter how long, is completed through individual steps, repeated consistently. The same principle applies to learning a language, building a career, improving health, or creating a successful business. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that missing one day does not matter. While occasional setbacks are natural, repeated inconsistency gradually weakens momentum. Habits become easier to break than to maintain. Every skipped opportunity increases the likelihood of skipping the next one. This is why protecting your daily routine becomes so valuable. Even on difficult days, doing a small amount keeps the habit alive. Progress may slow, but it does not stop completely. Consistency also teaches patience. In a world filled with instant gratification, patience has become a rare quality. People expect quick promotions, rapid business growth, immediate fitness results, and instant recognition. When these rewards fail to appear, frustration often replaces determination. Consistency reminds us that meaningful success follows a different timeline. The greatest rewards usually require sustained effort over long periods, allowing skills, relationships, and opportunities to mature naturally. Many extraordinary accomplishments appear effortless only because observers never do witness the years of preparation behind them. A successful speaker may seem naturally confident, yet that confidence was built through countless presentations, careful preparation, and continuous improvement. An accomplished artist may appear gifted, but every masterpiece is supported by thousands of hours of practice. A respected leader earns influence through years of making responsible decisions, solving problems, and serving others faithfully. The remarkable truth is that consistency allows ordinary people to achieve extraordinary results. You do not need perfect conditions to move forward. You do not need exceptional talent to improve. You simply need the willingness to continue when others become distracted, discouraged, or impatient. Every day you repeat a positive habit. You strengthen the foundation of your future. Every small action becomes another investment, quietly accumulating value until the results become impossible to ignore. Perfection is one of the biggest obstacles to progress. Many people refuse to begin because they believe everything must be exactly right before they take the first step. They wait for the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity, the perfect timing, or the perfect version of themselves. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and months become years, while their dreams remain untouched. The desire to be perfect often disguises itself as preparation, but in reality, it delays action and prevents growth. The pursuit of becoming just 1% better each day offers a completely different way of thinking. Instead of trying to transform your life overnight, you focus on making small improvements that are realistic and sustainable. 1% may seem insignificant at first. It may not impress anyone, and it may not produce dramatic changes immediately. Yet small improvements have an extraordinary ability to accumulate over time. They quietly build momentum, strengthen confidence, and create lasting transformation. Imagine trying to climb a staircase by jumping 10 steps at once. It might be possible occasionally, but it is difficult, exhausting, and risky. Walking up one step at a time may appear slower, yet it is steady, reliable, and far more sustainable. Personal growth works in the same way. Every small improvement becomes another step toward a larger goal. When you concentrate on the next step, instead of the entire staircase, progress becomes less overwhelming and far more achievable. Perfection creates unnecessary pressure. When people expect flawless performance, every mistake feels like failure. A single setback convinces them they are not capable, and they lose the courage to continue. The desire for perfection often leads to frustration, because perfection is impossible to maintain. There will always be room for improvement. There will always be challenges, unexpected obstacles, and lessons yet to be learned. Accepting this truth allows you to move forward without being paralyzed by unrealistic expectations. Improvement, on the other hand, welcomes mistakes as valuable teachers. Every mistake contains information that success cannot provide. When something does not go according to plan, you gain insight into what needs to change. You discover better methods, stronger strategies, and more effective habits. Instead of seeing mistakes as proof of failure, you begin to recognize them as evidence that you are learning. This shift in perspective transforms challenges into opportunities for growth. Every expert was once a beginner. The skilled writer once struggled to form clear sentences. The confident speaker once felt nervous before every presentation. The successful entrepreneur once made costly mistakes and faced rejection. None of them reached excellence by being perfect from the beginning. They improved gradually, one lesson at a time, one experience at a time, and one small adjustment after another. Their progress was built on continuous learning rather than flawless performance. Focusing on becoming 1% better also changes the questions you ask yourself. Instead of asking, "How can I become perfect?" you begin asking, "What can I improve today?" That single question directs your attention toward action instead of comparison. You stop worrying about how far you still have to go and begin appreciating the progress you are making. Every day offers a new opportunity to strengthen one skill, improve one habit, correct one weakness, or develop one new perspective. Small improvements also create confidence because they provide consistent evidence of growth. Confidence is not something that appears suddenly. It develops through repeated experiences of keeping promises to yourself. Every time you complete a task you committed to, every time you practice a skill, and every time you choose discipline over excuses, you strengthen your belief in your own ability. Over time, these small victories reshape your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who learns, and someone who keeps moving forward, regardless of temporary setbacks. Another advantage of focusing on improvement is that it reduces fear. Large goals often appear intimidating because people imagine everything that could go wrong. They become overwhelmed by the distance between where they are and where they want to be. Breaking that journey into small daily improvements makes the challenge manageable. You no longer have to solve every problem today. You only need to improve one part of yourself today. Tomorrow brings another opportunity for another small step. Comparison often destroys motivation because it shifts your attention away from your own journey. Looking at people who have spent years developing their skills can make your own progress seem insignificant. But every successful individual started from a place of uncertainty. Their current level of excellence is the result of countless small improvements made consistently over time. Comparing your beginning to someone else's destination creates discouragement, while comparing today's effort to yesterday's effort creates motivation. Life rewards progress more than perfection. Employers value people who continue learning. Businesses succeed by constantly improving their products and services. Athletes become champions by refining small details in their performance. Strong relationships grow through daily acts of kindness, understanding, and communication rather than occasional grand gestures. Every meaningful area of life responds to steady improvement because growth is a continuous process, not a final destination. When you commit yourself to becoming 1% better every day, you free yourself from the impossible burden of perfection. You begin to celebrate progress instead of criticizing imperfections. You become more patient with yourself, more willing to learn, and more resilient when challenges appear. Each day becomes another opportunity to strengthen your character, expand your abilities, and move one step closer to the person you are capable of becoming. Every person has habits, whether they are created intentionally or formed without much thought. Habits are the small actions we repeat so often that they eventually become automatic. We rarely stop to think about them because they become part of our daily routine. Yet these simple, repeated actions quietly influence the direction of our lives. They shape the way we think, the way we respond to challenges, the way we treat other people, and ultimately, the kind of person we become. While major decisions may change the course of life occasionally, it is our daily habits that determine the path we continue to walk. Many people focus only on achieving goals. They become excited about reaching a certain destination, earning a promotion, starting a successful business, or improving their health. Goals are valuable because they provide direction. But goals alone are not enough. A goal tells you where you want to go, while habits determine whether you actually get there. Without consistent habits, even the strongest ambitions eventually fade. Every meaningful achievement is supported by routines that are practiced long before success becomes visible. Consider the simple habit of reading every day. At first, reading a few pages may not seem important. The amount of knowledge gained in one sitting appears small. However, as weeks turn into months, and months into years, those pages become books. Those books become ideas, and those ideas begin to influence decisions, conversations, and opportunities. A habit that once seemed ordinary gradually transforms the way a person thinks and approaches life. The same principle applies to every positive habit. Exercise strengthens the body through repetition. Saving money builds financial security through discipline. Practicing communication improves relationships through consistency. Habits also shape character, because every repeated action reinforces a particular identity. When you repeatedly choose honesty, honesty becomes part of who you are. When you consistently keep your promises, reliability becomes your reputation. When you continue working despite difficulties, perseverance becomes one of your defining qualities. Character is not built through words or intentions alone. It is built through repeated actions that demonstrate what you truly value. People often believe character is revealed only during major moments of life, but in reality, character is developed in ordinary moments long before those challenges appear. The discipline to wake up on time, the willingness to finish what you start, the decision to remain patient during stressful situations, and the commitment to treat others with respect all contribute to building strong character. When difficult situations eventually arise, people do not suddenly become disciplined or courageous. They simply rely on the habits they have been practicing every day. One of the remarkable qualities of habits is that they reduce the need for constant decision-making. When positive actions become automatic, they require less mental effort. A person who has developed the habit of exercising no longer debates whether to work out every morning. A person who has cultivated the habit of reading naturally reaches for a book instead of endless distractions. Good habits simplify success because they transform beneficial actions into normal behavior rather than occasional effort. The opposite is also true. Negative habits may appear harmless in the beginning, but they quietly shape character in undesirable ways. Constant procrastination teaches the mind to delay responsibility. Frequent excuses weaken accountability. Small acts of dishonesty gradually damage integrity. Complaining every day develops a negative outlook that eventually influences every dull situation. Just as positive habits build strength over time, negative habits slowly erode confidence, discipline, and personal growth. Character influences every area of life because people respond to who you are more than what you are. Say, employers trust individuals who consistently demonstrate responsibility. Friends value those who are dependable during difficult times. Families become stronger when kindness, patience, and respect are practiced daily. Leaders earn influence because their actions repeatedly reflect honesty, humility, and commitment. Reputation is not created by occasional impressive performances. It is formed through habits that people observe consistently over time. Your future is deeply connected to your character because character determines the choices you make when opportunities and challenges appear. Two people may receive the same opportunity, but their habits influence how they respond. One may prepare diligently while the other procrastinates. One may continue learning while the other becomes complacent. One may remain honest despite temptation, while the other chooses the easier path. Their futures begin to separate because their daily habits have shaped different patterns of thinking and behavior. Another important truth is that changing your future does not always require changing everything at once. Trying to transform your entire life overnight often leads to frustration because the challenge feels overwhelming. Lasting change usually begins with replacing one habit at a time. Waking up a little earlier, reading a little more, listening more carefully, managing time more effectively, or expressing gratitude more consistently may appear like small adjustments, but each positive habit strengthens your character in meaningful ways. As your character grows stronger, your decisions improve, your relationships deepen, your confidence increases, and new opportunities naturally begin to appear. People sometimes search for shortcuts to success, hoping to bypass the slow process of personal development. They look for quick results without building the habits necessary to sustain those results. Even if temporary success arrives, it rarely lasts without strong character to support it. Character provides stability during success and resilience during failure. It enables people to remain humble when they achieve recognition and determined when they encounter setbacks. The habits you choose today quietly become the character you carry tomorrow, and that character steadily shapes the future you create through every decision, every action, and every opportunity you embrace.